So this presentation is really for all the wives out there who are like maybe kind of suspicious of their husbands and, wondering if they're secretly teaching yoga when they're not at the house. Because maybe they're spending a lot of time in outside of the house and not like at work, and you're kind of suspicious of it because you think maybe he's teaching yoga, and that's you don't want him to teach yoga because that's bad. So here are all the signs. One incredibly important sign is that if he's secretly teaching yoga, he'll probably have an increased interest in yoga. Like if you're like looking at him like this wife over here, if you're like looking at your husband and he's on the phone watching yoga videos and yoga tutorials, and that's a pretty big sign that he might be teaching yoga when he's not in the house. So you should just you should just always be monitoring, how many references to yoga that he makes, and if he's watching yoga videos on his phone or something, because those are all big signs. So make sure to keep a watch out for his interest in yoga. Another kind of thing that you should watch out for is the way that he speaks, because if he says like yoga terms, kind of like namaste and stuff like that, then he might actually be a yoga instructor. Because namaste is like a yoga term that people use in yoga. So, or if he says something like downward dog, that's also another sign, because that's a yoga term. And just keep a watch out for the way that he talks, because yoga instructors tend to talk in like yoga related ways all the time. So if he uses like yoga terms in like regular casual conversation, then he might be secretly teaching yoga when he's not in the house. Another thing is just like yoga gear. Like if you hold on. So let's imagine that you're this homely wife. I mean, yeah, and this is like a bed. This is your husband's bed where your husband sleeps, and you should just keep a watch out for places like if you're looking under the bed and oh shoot, yoga gear, yoga mat, and yoga roller. These are two pretty important yoga type stuff. So if you just keep a watch out, try and like look around your house, see if there's hidden yoga gear that you didn't know before. Because yoga instructors need a lot of yoga gear. So if you like find yoga gear around the house, then that's a sign that he might be secretly teaching yoga. When he's not in the house. So just keep a lookout. Increased flexibility. Yoga instructors have to be incredibly flexible. Like this guy, he probably teaches yoga. So if your husband's like not been able to touch his toes for like the entire time that you've ever met him, and then suddenly now he can touch his toes pretty easily and stuff, and he can like do stuff like this, which is a classic yoga thing that yoga people do, then he might be secretly doing like a lot of yoga, which is a sign that he might be teaching a class of people yoga on a daily basis. So just keep a watch out for his flexibility. Another thing is that yoga instructors make lots and lots of money. It's a well-paying job. So whatever job he had before, if he's like teaching yoga on the side, he might have lots more spending money that he might give to you. Like this guy, he has a lot of money. He's probably a yoga instructor, and this is his wife, and she seems confused because this guy has a ton of money, and she's not like complaining, but also like, where'd the money come from? Probably came from yoga teaching. Gyms pay yoga teachers pretty well, so just keep a watch out for his amount of money, because if his earnings suddenly go way up, and unexplained, plus all the other signs like flexibility and yoga terms. He might be secretly teaching yoga, um, which that's crazy. So now let's imagine that he shows all of these signs. It's time to confront this guy. You gotta lay into him, be like, "Are you teaching yoga when you're not in the house?" And he'll be like, "What? No way. Where would you even get that idea from?" And then you present all the evidence. You're like, "I heard you say namaste the other day. I saw you watching yoga videos on your phone. I found this yoga mat," and then you unroll the yoga mat dramatically. And then he's like, there's no way that he's going to be able to avoid it. Just admitting the fact that he teaches yoga. And honestly, if I were dating someone if I were married to someone and they were secretly teaching yoga on the side, it's time to get a divorce, because like yoga teaching, that's pretty crazy, You gotta be telling someone if you're teaching yoga. So you lay into him for all the yoga teaching that he's been doing behind your back and lying to you. Terrible. All right, well, stay safe out there, cause yoga teachers are everywhere, and you never know when your husband might become a yoga teacher. So just keep a lookout for the signs, and just stay safe, because your husband might secretly be teaching yoga. So just really stay safe. Also, hit the subscribe button, because we post helpful life advice for wives every single day. All of our content is pretty wife based, and for wives mostly. So if you're a wife and you have a husband who might be keeping secrets from you, you should consider subscribing for the channel, because we post wife and husband related content every single day. We also post yoga related content. I'm actually a yoga instructor myself. Don't tell my wife. And that's how, that's kind of how you can trust all these tips, because I'm a professional myself. So, thanks for listening to the presentation and learning all about wives and husbands and yoga instructors.